Hello and welcome to another episode of Unlocking You 2.0. This is Balwinder Marwaha, your transformational leadership coach, alongside with Spencer Bonin, certified emotion code and body code practitioner. Today we're coming together again with another episode that talks about control. And how many times have you felt like you're not in control of what's going on? Well, we really want you to sometimes be okay with that. It's okay to not always be in control. And today is really talking about being flexible and really what would happen if you actually let go and said, okay, you know what? Maybe I don't need to be in control. What would really happen? Spencer, I want you to start off with the subconscious side today. Tell us really, what what it is that maybe prevents us from being flexible or just letting go or even thinking about letting go.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for that intro. The first thing I kind of want to bring up, it definitely applies to both things, and it's a quote that I really, really enjoy, and I think it's really, really powerful and impactful. And what that quote is it's don't have needs, or I guess it's more of a saying, but it's don't have needs, have minor preferences. And when it comes to
Mm.
that, it's saying like you don't need things to be a certain way. Just be open to possibilities. So for example, if you're going to go to a restaurant or something like that and you want to, and let's just say you have a craving for a specific food, like let's say you want to go there and you're like, oh man, I really want, the roasted chicken or something like that, and you go there and you're just like, maybe not you, Bally, because I know you're vegan, but
Yeah.
let's just say, we go to a restaurant, we want something really, really bad, and like we quote need that particular thing because that's what we were craving. So we go
Yeah.
there, we have this expectation of, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to get, that's everything going to be there. Oh, sorry, we're out of the chicken. What are you going to
Mhm.
do, right? So at this point, because you had a need or a really big thing or expectation of that particular thing, you're immediately craving that stuff, right? Um so it's a matter of shifting that and being like, okay,
Mhm.
well, uh I need to have a minor preference of like, okay, cool, well, I'll have a different dish or whatever it is. So that's kind of the really, really important thing, and I think you're going to talk more about that on the conscious side. Subconsciously, kind of like what's going on underneath, right? So we might have a couple of different trapped emotions or different scenarios because in the past we may have had like a failure at some
Yeah.
point. So there might be a trapped emotion kind of failure itself, or even lack of control, that's hindering us from feeling like we can
Mhm.
really let go of that. And there's a couple of in particular that I was thinking about that might have a really, really big impact. And if you feel like you're a person that has loses control, or feel like you just don't have control on a regular basis, you may want to consider asking or working with someone to find out if you have this. So the couple that I was thinking about were a will to control energy and a no will to be controlled energy. So they're
Mhm.
similar, but they're a little bit different. But it's the point of like you just always feel like you need to be in control, or you just will not allow other things to be in control of you, if that makes sense. So
Mhm.
and on top of that, you may even have what's called an idea allergy to the idea of lack of control, which
Mhm.
which is just in a whole other thing in itself. So if you find that you are just feeling that you're just not in control, you feel like you don't have control, if you need to have control over everything, definitely connect with me, connect with Bally, and we can work that out, and we can find
Mhm.
what's going on in the background and lingering in the background. It's just
Absolutely.
it's an energetic body code or emotion code session away. Like we can figure that out. So that's kind of what's going on in the subconscious. What's going on consciously,
Mhm.
Bally?
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Spencer. And a couple of things Spencer mentioned that I'm gonna build off of is expectations, fear. So when it comes to control, expectations and fear are like cousins. They're very closely related. So what happens, and let's talk about expectations first. Being flexible. When we have certain expectations, it makes it difficult to be flexible. Going back to the story of what Spencer said, you go to a restaurant, you really want that one thing, and that's kind of your end all be all. When they don't have it, it's beyond your control. There's nothing you can do about it. But because you had that expectation set out, it's that's what causes that fear of control, that oh my God, I'm not in control anymore, or I can't control what I'm eating. But if you don't set yourself up to begin with, then you won't face that. So being flexible in when it comes to control is really just about letting go of the expectation, and not having really, really high expectations. You can have preferences is great. You know, hey, I'd prefer to have that dish, or I'd prefer to have that meal, or I prefer to have this color. But if that's not available, that's okay. Nothing you can do about it, right? Then the next part is fear. So control and fear are also very, very closely tied together. When we fear things, we really want to be in control. Um, situations, other people. So let's just say, and I want to use an example. Eddie, all my people in Calgary that are watching are really going to relate to this. But um, a few months ago, this past summer, we had a really, really bad hailstorm, and a lot of people's homes were very, very devastating. Like one of the highest. It was the fourth worst storm in North America for damage. The hail was super bad, and so this hailstorm damaged people's cars, damaged people's homes, and did crazy amounts of damage all over the place. Now, it's unfortunate. The reality is it sucks, especially if it happened to your home. And I'm thankful it didn't happen to mine, but it did happen to my brother-in-law. So I know what he went through. The reality, though, is it's beyond his control or anyone's control that this storm happened and that the things got damaged.
Yeah.
Now, the fear that sets in is like, oh my God, what am I going to do about my house? What am I going to do about my car? How am I going to get to work? And you start having these fears of what if, what, and so if you just let go and just say, okay, listen, really, what's the worst that's going to happen? My car's not drivable because the windshield is smashed and there's water coming through my sunroof because it doesn't exist anymore. Um, you know, do do I have other options? Can
Yeah.
I borrow a car? Can I get a ride? Can I work from home? You know, let's play out the different scenarios. What if you just let it go and say, okay, well, I can't do anything about it, so it is what it is.
Mm.
And your house is damaged, and some people's windows were smashed. So they've got pieces of ply, and they still have pieces of plywood up because there's a supply shortage 6 months later. But the reality is, it's beyond their control.
Yeah.
If they start worrying and stressing and fretting, and you know it's going to do some real mental damage. And being flexible and not having this is a state of being mentally healthy. So you have this fear of, oh my God, and there's snow on the ground here. It snowed last night. So it's like, not only do I have a piece of plywood over my window, it's snow, it's cold, so that insulation barrier is not very good. But again, it's beyond their control.
Mm.
So what do? They say, okay, well, I can't do anything about it. I have to live with this. What are my options? Well, if it's really cold, maybe I can get a space heater and put a heater. But really just saying, okay, look, here's what I can't do, but what can I do?
Mm.
You know, or what if I just say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna let it go. If it takes another 3 months for my house to get fixed, then so be it. It's nothing I can control personally. So with that example, and a lot of people have gone through that, a lot of people can relate. The fear that really ties in that says, oh my God, what do I do? What am I gonna do? Or, how am I gonna do this? Well, again, it's just not in your hands. So let's play the scenario of, okay, you know what? It's fine. I can't, but what can I do? And focus on that.
Right.
So that's where I really want you to work on the conscious side. And again, if you have a tough time doing this, let's connect. We'll play the scenario. Let's figure out what part in your life are you lacking giving up control. Is it in relationships? Is it finances? Is it maybe it has to do with that hailstorm? Whatever it may be, let us work through it and let us talk about it and figure out what we can do to fix it. So, with that said, Spencer, anything else you want to touch on?
No, not really. I mean, the one thing I would say is just, just to kind of put that word out there is just surrender, right? Just exactly what you're
Mm,
talking about, just kind of surrender to the process. And no, that doesn't mean you're giving up. It just means that you're just kind of allowing. It's allowing this to kind of be, and it's just like, okay, I'm going to take it as it is, and that's totally fine. So that's the only other thing I wanted to say there. With that, thank you so much for watching today, guys. If you are really interested in kind of what we're talking about and the way we're bringing the conscious and the subconscious work together, or if you are really interested in kind of maybe even doing this kind of thing on your own, check out our website here. It's leadyourideallife.com. That really shows you, there's a couple of videos that will get you really, really excited about what we're doing and the mission that we have to take to the world here, and really help people just become the best versions of themselves. And with that, this Thursday, tomorrow, I believe, this whole Thanksgiving thing is throwing me for a loop. But yeah, so tomorrow we're having our weekly webinar where we talk about how to recover from 2020, because let's face it, 2020 has been a little bit less than ideal. Lots of crazy stuff going on, but there's still some time left. There's still about a month or 2.5 months left in this year where we can take that time, we can shift things in 2020 and then make 2021 and beyond even better. So there's limited seating, so this sells out pretty much every single week. So I think there's about maybe, 15 spots or something like that I checked last. So if this is something that's interesting you, if you want to take control and learn how to not be so not in control kind of thing, like we were talking about all week, check out this video, or check out the website, check out our webinar coming up tomorrow, and you're definitely going to want to be there. Aside from that, that should be everything, and I hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow for day number 3, I believe.
Yes.